Hello and welcome back to World Talks on TVP World with me, Ashim Kumar. Well, the rule of law in Poland is being reinstated by the new coalition government, but it's a slow process and the EU is closely monitoring the situation in Poland. But it's not just Poland that is facing these challenges. The two largest economies in the EU, France and Germany, are also facing similar challenges with their constitutional courts. Well, to discuss this, we're joined by Marcin Zaborowski, he's Policy Director at the Future of Security Programme at GLOBSEC. Mr. Zaborowski, welcome to TVP World. Good to see you again, and thanks for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure as always, sir. So, now, the coalition, what has it done so far to reverse the undermining of the rule of law in Poland? How would you assess that?
Well, the success in reinstating the rule of law in Poland is mixed for objective reasons. The coalition has the intention to reinstate the rule of law, to return to the position when Constitutional Court and Supreme Court would be truly independent from political influences, and also the judicial independence would be fully reinstated. But it's very difficult to do that in the current setup, in which the current shape of these institutions is being protected by the president. So both the Constitutional Court and the Supreme Court were essentially captured by the former government. They are being staffed with the people loyal to the former government. They represent the opposition. They are deeply politicized, and they are the element of the political infighting in Poland. Until the incoming presidential election, which will take place in about a year time, we will be having that system in which the key judicial institutions in the country are really the element of a political infighting rather than representing the interest of the citizens in Poland.
Of the independent judiciary. Now, is the EU prepared to wait, or do you think there is some response that they are likely to provide as a result? I mean, a year is a long time in politics, after all.
Well, the understanding is this, that the government has submitted the program of judicial reforms. It has also actually made some moves to reinstate the rule of law, for example, by joining the European Prosecutor's Office, which the former government withdrew from, and also by making moves towards the splitting the position of Minister of Justice and Prosecutor General. And the current situation in which these two positions were being combined is the legacy of the former government. My understanding is that the current government will depart from that, and that the Prosecutor General would be independent, or will be independent. So the EU is aware that this is the intention of this government, and is also aware of the domestic constraints in Poland, with basically the situation in which to change the position of the position of the Constitutional Court and Supreme Court will be impossible as long as Andrzej Duda remains president in this country.
Understood. Now, the issue of the Constitutional Court, how do you think this is perceived by the population in Poland? And do we have groups who simply don't care? It's just a big political machination, and it doesn't affect their lives, and they'll vote for the same party they've always voted for. What's your assessment on that?
No, I think it is correct. I think that indeed the majority of people do not care about whether Constitutional Court is independent or not, who controls Constitutional Court, but they do care about things like the the consequences of the decision taken by these bodies, sometimes without being aware that that it is these bodies which made their life more complicated. For example, it is the current Constitutional Court, which is deeply politicized, which issued the ruling on the abortion law, which essentially makes the abortion completely impossible in Poland. So the legal abortion, even in the cases of rape, or even in the case of the threat to women's life, is no longer legal in Poland, and this is the result of the ruling of Constitutional Court. And so that is one of the things that at least a big part of the electorate in this country really cares about. And it was one of the reasons why the former government was being voted out of the office in October 2023.
Understood. Okay, well, let's zoom out for us in the last couple of minutes that we have. Now, this is not a problem that's unique to Poland. In my introduction, I talked about France and Germany, which are facing other challenges to the Constitutional Court. What is the lesson that the EU can learn from the experiences of these three countries? And what can they do to make things easier in the future?
Well, Germany has truly quite a model case. It is quite a model case of the independence of judiciary, with the Constitutional Court in Germany being very powerful. And very often being in disagreement with the government itself. But this principle of judicial independence in Germany is maintained and has been really the cornerstone of the German democracy since the foundation of the Federal Republic in 1949. In fact, what is very interesting in the German model is that the Constitutional Court is physically in Karlsruhe, meaning it's away from the center of policy making, to make sure that the judges are immune from political influences, and that they don't mix with politicians. In Karlsruhe,
right,
away from the center of policy making, and they make their decisions regardless of what politicians do.
Understood. Well, perhaps there are some lessons for other countries to take from Germany, which may not be perfect, but does have some indicators that might be useful. Mr. Zaborowski, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and sharing your analysis with our audience. Have a good day, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye now. And that's all from us in this episode of World Talks. Don't go away. Lots coming up. Bye from me.